Hi guys, so this week I'm going to try to tie up a streamer I like to tie. And all it is a small shad pattern made of a Zonker strip, a little pearl flash, thread, and some, hard to see it there, and then some white tinsel back in there wrapped around the hook shank. I really like this pattern. It's a good bait fish imitator. You can color, use any different color pattern you want. Put the eyes on there. Don't put the eyes on there. Either way will work. You can also actually add Dumbo eyes to get it down a little bit deeper if you want. So I hope you guys enjoy. And I've tried a couple of different things. I tried to get the camera a little bit closer so it's a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. That was one of my problems when I watched my videos. And a little bit of feedback I've got said the same thing. It was kind of hard to tell what I was doing because the camera wasn't close enough. So hopefully this goes a little bit better this time. As always, I'll put the recipe for the fly up at the end of everything. Thanks, guys. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is mount our saltwater style hook in the vise. I'm using a Mustad S7 DSNP DT size 6, which is a streamer hook with a straight eye. It's a size, it's got 2x height, 4x long, so length of the shank, height in between the gap there. And I'm just going to start my thread real quick, just to get it on there. Clip off that tag end, get it there. Next, grab my lead-free wire. Let's get a piece of it, section of it off, that we're going to wrap on there. Start on the back, work my way forward with it. Once you get so many wraps in, you need to kind of push it back together because it will spread out on you. Kind of position it back towards the back. Because you're going to wrap most of the shank of this hook with this. Because this is, of course, a streamer, so you want it to get down in the water a little bit. I'm going to go until I'm only got about 1/4 of the shank left uncovered. Basically, you can see the gap I've got there. Just reach up in here, trim it off. Get your wire positioned good. Now, just take your thread, wrap back till you get to it, and then just wrap it along the length of the wire, making a little thread dam at the back to the front, remake another one, and then just go back across it one more time. It puts you 3 wraps of thread around to help hold that wire in place. Wrap back till you start going around the bend of that hook, and then just let that hang there. The next thing you're going to grab is your tinsel. You're just going to cut a piece off, I would say about 8 inches. Take it and just tie it in there. And always tie it in off to the side a little bit towards me for when I go to wrap it. That way it holds it. Since that'll be the direction I wrap it, it'll be around this way towards me. It helps it line up a little bit better. Kind of drape that towards the back out of the way. Next, you'll get your strip of rabbit zonker fur. And cut you off a piece that is about twice the length as the shank of your hook. Okay, snip it off. Any of the loose hairs, just kind of pull them down out of the way. And then what I do to help with tying it in, actually come to the end that's going to go towards the front of the hook, which will be where you cut from, and just trim some of those hairs out. What that does, it makes it a little bit cleaner when you go to tie everything in at the end. Since this will be at the front of your hook, you want to try to keep it as clean as you can, so when you make those wraps, kind of cut it at an angle on each side. As you can see, it's that little bit of a point there, and that'll just help when you tie in as well. Smooth that out. Bring that up there, lay it there, so the tip of where you cut is just barely over the hook eye, because that'll pull back some once you start putting everything in there. Kind of flip your hairs up here a little bit, and then just take your thread, kind of weave it through that hair, kind of let it drop down there. Kind of position that so it stays up on top, and send another wrap around. Once you have that positioned where you need it, which is of course with the Zonker strip laying down the length of the shank, pull that front part back and just wrap inside there. Okay, just making a good little compact to help hold everything in place. Wrap your thread back towards the front, stopping right after you get past where you tied the wire in. Now you're going to take your tinsel and just start wrapping it forward, overlapping slightly on the wrap before it, so it helps kind of cover everything. And you're just going to wrap all the way to the front, covering that wire. Just make sure that wire gets covered completely by this. What this is going to do down inside there is just going to add that extra little bit of flash and shimmer that you see on the side of a shad, a minnow. Just wrap till you completely cover that up to where your thread is. Always make a couple extra wraps there because it does kind of thin out because it's off that. Then I'm going to wrap over once this way. I'm going to pull this back and wrap it around to help hold it in. Go back to where I'm right there where my lead is. Snip off the excess. There you go. Next, making sure all your rabbit fur kind of stays back out of your way because it likes to get in the way. Pick it out of there a little bit. Push it down out of your way a little bit more. You're then going to grab your bait fish emulator flash. I'm just going to cut a little section of this out. I grab about this much right here and just snip it right off. Get it down. Fold it over a little bit. Make sure it's all flowing one direction for you. And then just trim off the ends so they're all equal. So you're all even. Okay. Lay this right on the bottom like so, holding it in your left hand up against the shank of the hook, and then just tie it in, covering it completely up the shank, back towards the eye, and then back down. Okay. That gives you your bottom half. Now you bring your rabbit fur up, kind of brushing it back down. This one kind of moved on me a little bit, so we're just going to snip a little bit of the end of it off there. I'm just going to start tying it in. Wraps to get that Zonker strip down. Go right up to the hook eye. And make sure everything's now laying out of your way, and just make you the head of your fly right out of that thread. Just wrap it till you get it good and thick up there, because you're talking about the end of a minnow here. End of your bait fish. So you want it pretty thick. Just up and down it. Just thickening that up a little bit. Okay. Once you get it to about the thickness you need, just grab your whip finisher and tie it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's that. And like always, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tie it in twice. Just makes me feel a little bit better. Snip off your thread. Put it out of the way. Next, you can do one of two things. You can either leave it just the way it is and fish it. Looks great in the water, jerking it through there, moves perfectly, everything flares up beautifully. Or, if you have some, you can take tiny little eyes and put on there. Which if I haven't used all mine up, I'm going to. I just like the looks of it a little bit better. Problem is my desk is a mess right now, so it's hard for me to find anything on it. These are just little red hologram eyes. And how I position mine is I just use some hardhead clear. Kind of brush that off there a little bit, because you don't need a lot when you first do this. Just a little bit on each side. This is just going to kind of also help hold it a little bit better. Just back up here out of the way a little bit. I want to position the one closest to you guys first. And where I want to try to put it, if it'll quit sticking to my finger, is right here where the thread on here. And the rabbit fur kind of come together at. There we go. And come to the other side. You're going to do the exact same thing. Same spot. Just trying to get them equal on each side. And then once I have them in place, I actually grab then. I know it's mixing two different things, and people are probably going to think I'm crazy for doing it, but it works for me. I like it better this way, just because of the flexibility it gives me a little bit. I'll just take a little hardener here, like a nail hardener that you can go pick up at any store. Just brush right up through there. Brush over the eyes a little bit. Kind of helps hold them all together there for you. Plus, it kind of makes the head of that fly a little bit more solid. I got a little bit of stuff in the knee. The hook, I'll just go ahead and clear it out. Or I'm looking at it here. But you can always clear it out afterwards, you know, once it solids up. Let that dry. You can see how everything's laying there. Of course, the vise has kind of got it pushed down to kind of brush everything out. I actually take a small comb that I've picked up somewhere and just kind of brush down the length of that hair to kind of help push it down a little bit. And of course, just brushes out anything loose that way. Let that set for a few minutes somewhere, which I just take a piece of cork. Slide it on there. And I set it to the side and I just let it dry. And as you can see, kind of solids up pretty good. Gives you a nice little bait fish profile with a little bit of flash in there. And as a guy who fishes with where a lot of shad, minnows are, I like this pattern a lot. It's not, you know, you can tie it in any size from any streamer size that you want. I mean, you know, tie it in any color pattern that you want. I've tied a few in black and red. I'm kind of a red shad fan, so all right.